Hello to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV News Cycle. We are Nigerian's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has hinted at plans by his administration to address what he termed historical inadequacies of policy making, which had been impeded by lack of comprehensive data in Nigeria. He regretted the lack of comprehensive data, saying it had been a technological difficulty that has hindered the growth of Nigeria and the entire Africa, hampering ability to make informed government decisions. President Tinubu stated this on Thursday during the 2023 Comptroller General of Customs Annual Conference at Lagos Continental Hotel, Victoria Island, Lagos. The president, who was represented at the conference by his deputy Kashim Shettima, said because data is guiding light in the ever-evolving landscape of modern world, Nigeria can no longer afford functions in the dark. The First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has urged wives of state governors to complement President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda for good governance to spread across the board. She gave the admonition while receiving the wives of governors across the nation and the FCT representative in the presidential villa yesterday. She stated that it was imperative for state leaders, especially those in opposition parties, to work with the presidential agenda in tackling issues affecting the citizenry. The First Lady lauded the wives of governors for their personal projects and initiatives in their various states to assist the vulnerable in society. Minister of Art, Culture and Creative Economy, Annatu Musawa, said the ministry is set to establish a national museum and national theatre in a creative city to be located in Abuja. Musawa made this known while defending the budget of her ministry before Senate Committee on Arts, Culture and Creative Economy at the National Assembly. According to a statement signed by her Special Assistant on Media, Ineka Ikem, Musawa stated that the establishment of two projects are top on the list of projects of the ministry, and they are intended to create jobs for Nigerians. She stated that this can only be achieved when the Senate passes the budget. In a bid to curb the menace of unregistered mining engineers, the federal government says it will process proposals for solid minerals investment from members of the Council of Nigerian Mining Engineers and Geoscientific. In recognition of their critical role in the sector, Minister of Solid Minerals Development Oladele Alake announced the new measure to the inductees of the council. He says the ministry will only attend to technical proposals for life under the mining law with the seal of COMEG. Sharon Ajay has the details.
In a landmark endorsement, the minister declared that all reports coming to the ministry must bear the GOMEG stamp, while also affirming that only GOMEG-certified professionals will be recognized by the federal government, noting that these are critical elements needed in the reactivation efforts of the solid minerals sector.
As from today, no mining engineer or geoscientist will be recognized by the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development without being registered by COMEG. We need to sanitize the sector, and I've said this at various fora. We not only sanitize in terms of the physicals, in terms of security of the operating environment, putting in place proper funding mechanisms. And so without COMEG registering you as a practitioner, your reports will not be recognized by the Ministry of Solid Minerals, which means by this government, which means by Nigeria.
The minister charged inductees to avail themselves of constant knowledge to keep up with new innovations, stressing that having been highly trained, the criticalities of their training will be put to bear on the success of President Bola Tinubu's vision of enabling the mining sector to play a crucial role in contributing significantly to the gross domestic product (GDP) of Nigeria. Speaking further, Alake admonished the inductees that GOMEG relies on them to shore up its reputation, whilst the ministry depends on their input to manifest the metrics of marketing the sector to global investors.
Your role in the value chain cannot be underemphasized or overemphasized either. because you are professional engineers, you are professional geoscientists. These are very critical elements needed in the activation efforts of the solid mineral sector. So, if we do not get it right from your level, Nigeria can't get it right at the tertiary level of exploration and exploitation.
The minister, however, lauded the institution and its Director General, Professor Okpa Funsho, for training qualified mining engineers and geoscientists, emphasizing that the contribution of GOMEG to the technical expertise of mining sector cannot be overemphasized. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
The Supreme Court has set aside a judgment by the lower court that dismissed the terrorism charges against the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The Apex Court held that the Court of Appeal was wrong and that the trial court couldn't try him because the persecution violated his rights. In the judgment prepared by Justice Garba Mohammed, the court condemned the invasion of Kanu's residence, declaring it irresponsible. The court held that there is no law in the country stopping the trial based on violation of the rights of a suspect. Federal universities, polytechnics and colleges of education have been taken off from the Integrated Personnel Payment System, IPPIS. Minister of Education Professor Tahir Mamun disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents alongside other ministers on the outcome of the FEC meeting. Adding that it takes immediate effect, Uyi Agbonofuegbe has details.
The federal government in 2006 introduced the IPPIS as one of its reform initiatives for the effective storage of personal records, saying the move would improve transparency and accountability. The exemption approval reached during FEC's meeting at the Presidential Villa in Abuja comes as a relief to tertiary institutions across the country. According to the Minister of Education, FEC also observed that vice-chancellors of universities need not abandon their work to come to Abuja to process the salaries of their personnel.
A very happy day for the education sector because one of the problems which the vice-chancellors, rectors, and provosts of college of education, those managing the tertiary sector in Nigeria, have been complaining about have been the subscription to IPPS. You know what IPPS does? And which has made recruitment and many other activities of the university relating to personnel very, very difficult. Now today, today's council, it has been decided, the president has directed that vice chancellor should no longer or have been taken out of that service. So this is a very, very important development for the vice chancellor that will allow for efficient management of the universities and tertiary education, generally speaking. And then secondly, which is connected to that, before now, when the tertiary education institutions want to make recruitment, they have to run to the office of the head of service, you know, for waiver, for approval, for all that sort of thing. Today too, the council, through the directive of the president, has exempted them from that, they will have nothing to do. They don't have to go to the office of the head of service because it is actually not in their line of supervision.
Earlier, President Bola Tinubu has sworn in Dr. Musa Aliyu as substantive chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, following his confirmation by the Senate. Others are Nantu Abdullahi, Shehu Aliyu, Rokayat Odekunle, Princess Sarah Shosho, and Dr. Festus Oyebade. The president personally administered the oath of office on the new appointees whose appointments were recently confirmed by the Senate in accordance with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Uyi Agbomofwegbe, reporting for Global Television News.
The Nigerian army says it has arrested the commander of the indigenous people of Biafra, armed affiliate the Eastern Security Network, Igochukwu Akpa, in Akwa local government area of Enugu State. The military added that 3 other suspected members of IPOD and ESN, who are Udoka Ide Ikechukwu Ulanta and Ezinai Uzewere, were also arrested according to the military. The 4 suspects were apprehended after their hideout located at Christ the King Catholic Church in Amata Umabo of Akwa local government area was raided, adding that they appear sustained a gunshot wound while attempting to flee with 4 live cartridges also recovered from the suspects. A former governor of Anambra State in defunct Third Republic, Chukwuemeka Ezeafe, is dead. Ezeafe died at the Federal Medical Center in Abuja, according to a statement issued on Friday and signed by Rob Ezeafe on behalf of the family. The other statesman died around 6 p.m. yesterday. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has sympathized with the Ezeafe family, the people and the government of Anambra State on the passing of former governor of the state, Chief Chukwuemeka Ezeafe. Ezeafe was governor of Anambra State from 1992 to 1993. He died yesterday at the Federal Medical Center, Abuja, according to a statement by the family. In a press release by the spokesperson for the president, Ajirin Galale, on Thursday, Tinubu extolled the towering influence of the former Federal Permanent Secretary in Nigeria's political landscape, as well as his leadership credentials, describing his passing as a painful loss. The president recalled the contributions the late Ezeafe made in the shaping of public discourse and governance in Nigeria, as well as laying the foundation of advancements of his state. Still on the federal government of Nigeria, states stemming the causes of gender-based violence require citizens' participation at all levels. This was revealed ongoing plans with states to provide mobile courts for the swift administration of justice in GBV cases nationwide. Minister of Women Affairs Uju Kennedy Ohaneye disclosed this at the launch of Civil Society Organization of Community Advancement and Humanitarian Empowerment Initiative in Abuja. She further emphasized that her call to every citizen is to take up the battle against violence is due to the increase in cases of gender-based violence in our society. Moving on now, the National Population Commission launched the 2023-24 Nigeria Demographic Health Survey and would officially begin the reconstruction of the Akwa Ibom State MPC office building for the exercise. The chairman, National Population Commission, Nasser Kwara, while performing the ceremonies, assured all that NPC would deliver a credible, reliable and acceptable population census in the country. He added that the Commission will leave no stone unturned in providing the necessary facilities for a comfortable work environment for its personnel. Now, Rivers State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Justice Adogo, has resigned. His resignation was communicated in a letter dated November 14, 2023, and addressed to the Governor Fubara. He noted that his exit from office was based on personal principles and not connected to political crisis currently rocking the state. Global Television will keep tracking developments in River States for our viewers. The leadership of Association of Local Government of Nigeria, ALGON, has converged on the nation's capital, Abuja, to discuss ways of ending what it termed the anti-developmental trend of appointing caretakers, committees and sole administrators to oversee the affairs of local governments in Nigeria by governors, in shape contract to conduct elections as provided in the Constitution. The administrators unanimously agree that governors must conduct elections for the growth of local government areas. Global TV correspondent Anthony Momodu tells us more.
President of the association, Kolade Alabi, noted that the only way citizens at the grassroots can benefit from good governance is to conduct consistent elections.
The resolution of European Union that countries should embrace decentralized policy, that is, proper devolution of power to the local authorities. Otherwise, the countries will not be able to access with 500 million euros.
He made a strong case for adherence to the sections of the Constitution that specifically border on the conduct of elections to decide who steers the ship of leadership at local government level.
During our visit to the National Assembly, I reiterated the importance of Senate cooperation in achieving decentralization and total autonomy for local government administration. You will all agree with me that the downstream removal of subsidies and its ensuing consequences have undeniably caused hardship. However, we remain optimistic that these sacrifices will yield positive outcomes as there are no gains without pains.
Local government administrators from Delta, Kogi and other states lent their voices on the benefit of grassroots elections into local government positions.
The importance of democracy, or the definition of democracy, is government of the people, by the people. Therefore, it will be very wise and good if local government will always have a democratically elected representative. That will give way for maybe managing the local government resources effectively and efficiently. And equally, if you look at all this issue of security challenges, it will be very good if you have democratically elected people. They will take care of their people. But once local government is always under caretaker committee chairman, it's somebody that will be given 6 months, they don't have time to plan, talk less of executing it. So therefore, the importance of election in the local government is very, very important and is paramount.
The current move by the National Assembly to repeal the laws backing state government's interference in the administration of local government is, amongst other things, crucial and dicey. Anthony Mamodu reporting for Global TV News.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has announced a pre-qualification approval for the agency's Yaba Laboratory, Lagos State, as a central drug control laboratory. The Director General of NAFDAC, Mojisola Adeyeye, disclosed this at a news conference in Abuja on Thursday. She stated that the World Health Organization had recently approved the CDCL, adding that the approval of the laboratory for the agency was a significant milestone in its dedication to ensuring the safety and quality of pharmaceutical products. The new Commissioner of Police in Lagos, Adegoke Fayoade, has assured the provision of watertight security during and after the Christmas and New Year celebrations in the state. Fayoade gave the assurance on Thursday while interacting with newsmen after taking over as a new CP in Lagos Command. Fayoade took over the baton of leadership from Wahid Ayalara, who was the acting CP, stating that the command was going to work in synergy with other security agencies to secure all areas of Lagos through the air, land and water. The news cycle returns. Federal government says power sector cash flow grows to 900 billion naira. The news continues shortly with details of this and more stories right after this break. Thank you for staying with us. This is Global Television News Circle. Stay tuned. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television News Cycle. And on our foreign scene, the Court of the West African Bloc, ECOWAS, ordered on Friday the release of Niger's disposed President Mohamed Bazoum immediately from detention, where he has been held since July 26 coup. The court called for his immediate and unconditional release and ordered that Bazoum be reinstated. Bazoum had been held in his presidential residence with his wife and their son since he was overthrown in mid-September. The disposed president appeals to the ECOWAS Court of Justice to obtain his release and the restoration of constitutional order in the country. Niger is currently suspended from the Economic Community of West African States. Other member states have in the past ignored rulings from the ECOWAS Court. Niger's ruling military has agreed to terms and conditions of the transition back to civilian rule and will present the plan to original bloc, and the chief diplomat from mediator Togo announced Thursday, speaking on Niger's national television. Togo Foreign Minister Robert Dussey said he had reached an agreement on the content and timing of the transition with Niger's junta appointed Prime Minister Ali Mohammed and Foreign Minister Bakary Sankare. The sanction and suspension of the international finance aid have left Niger already one of the world's poorest countries economically hanging by the thread. Over now to South Sudan's head of the UN mission, Nicholas Hayson, says the country is in no position to hold free, fair or secure elections slated for December 2024. Hayson, who said this while briefing the UN Secretary Council, noted there is still time to catch up with the conditions. He outlined key conditions required by April 2024 for moving ahead according to agreed timeline. These include a new permanent constitutional framework, voters' registration details, an election security plan, well-trained, equipped and unified security forces, and a mechanism for resolving disputes over results. A critical mass of these prerequisites is necessary for creating the conditions for the conduct of elections that are not only free and fair, but also deemed credible and acceptable to South Sudanese citizens. Over now to business, the Nigerian Labour Congress warned the federal government against heeding the advice of the World Bank to increase the pump price of petroleum maltose spirit, popularly called petrol, to 75 naira per litre. The NLC's head of information, Benson Upar, said any further increase in the price of petrol will lead to acne in the country. He therefore called on the government to reject the proposal of the World Bank that petrol should sell at about 750 naira per litre, as against the current rate of between 620 naira and 650 naira per litre in most locations across the country. This came as oil marketers explained that cost of PMC should be around 1,000 naira per litre had it had not been the government not subsidizing the product. So long, the federal government has announced that the liquidity in Nigerians' power increased from 282 billion naira in 2015 to 900 billion naira currently, adding that its financial burden in the industry have been reduced by about 373 billion naira. It disclosed this through the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission at the ministerial retreat on integrated national electricity policy and strategic implementation policy. In a presentation at the event, the chairman, NERC, Sanusi Garba, stated that they have also created a mechanism for enforcing payment discipline in the industry. And that's it on Global News Cycle. We're on StarTimes Channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. See you again.